Did you know in Florida there are underwater caves where fossils rain from the ceiling? Or that one of its lakes used to literally explode? How about lava tubes underneath its ground? Well, Florida is a state that is full of bizarre facts like this. So buckle up, because we're about to reel off 50 of the wildest ones you probably never knew. Fact 50. Florida has underwater forests. Believe it or not, there's an ancient forest sitting at the bottom of the ocean just off the coast of Florida. Near Sarasota, scientists discovered a sunken cypress forest that's been underwater for over 50,000 years. It was buried in ocean mud and protected from oxygen, which helped keep the wood perfectly preserved. Experts say it could be as old as 70,000 years. Fact 49. Florida is flatter than a pancake. Florida is the flattest state in the entire United States. Its highest point, Britton Hill, reaches only 345 feet above sea level, about the height of a 3-story building. To put that into perspective, that's lower than the tallest building in most major cities. So, when you're strolling along Florida's beaches or cruising through its plains, remember, you're walking on some of the most level ground in the country. Fact 48. Parts of Florida used to be underwater coral reefs. You might not realize it, but when you're walking around Miami, you're actually standing on ancient coral reefs. Millions of years ago, southern Florida was covered by a thriving underwater world, full of colorful corals and tropical fish. Over time, the sea levels dropped and those reefs hardened into the limestone that now sits beneath cities like Miami. Just off the coast of the Florida Keys, the Florida Reef is still alive today. It's the only coral barrier reef in the continental U.S. So yeah, Florida's got a secret. The ground beneath your feet was once an ocean paradise. Fact 47. Florida has land that dissolves beneath your feet. In Florida, the ground can literally disappear beneath your feet thanks to something called karst terrain. Underneath much of the state is soft limestone rock that slowly dissolves when rainwater, slightly acidic by nature, seeps into the ground. Over time, this eats away at the rock, creating hidden caves, giant sinkholes, and crystal clear springs. And these underground networks are crucial. They hold a massive amount of Florida's fresh water, making up one of the most important groundwater systems in the world. Fact 46. Florida is slowly sinking. Florida isn't just dealing with rising seas, it's also sinking. In cities like Miami, huge parts of the land sit just 3 to 6 feet above sea level. Over half of Miami-Dade County is barely that high. And here's the twist. Florida's ground is made of porous limestone, which soaks up water like a sponge. So when the ocean rises, it doesn't just flood from above, it creeps in from below. That combo makes Miami one of the most at-risk cities on the planet when it comes to sea level rise. Fact 45. Wakulla Spring is one of the deepest in the world. Wakulla Spring is one of the deepest freshwater springs in the world, reaching more than 185 feet below the surface. Located in Florida's Wakulla Spring State Park, it's known for its clear water and long network of underwater caves. Over the years, researchers have found prehistoric animal bones, ancient tools, and other artifacts buried deep within the spring. It also marks the end of one of the longest and deepest submerged cave systems on the planet. As hydrologist Dr. Todd Kincaid put it, if these caves weren't underwater, the entire area would probably be a national park. Fact 44. Florida has more springs than any place on Earth, with over 700 freshwater springs bubbling up from beneath the surface. These natural fountains pour crystal clear water into rivers, create swimming holes, and carve out underwater caves. But why? Well, the reason Florida has more springs than any other state, and most countries, lies in its geology. Huge layers of porous marine limestone near the surface, part of the Floridian aquifer system. Fact 43. Sinkholes have swallowed homes, roads, and people. Sinkholes have a notorious reputation in Florida, having swallowed homes, roads, and even tragically, people. The state experiences several thousand sinkholes each year. While some go unnoticed or cause only minor damage, others are much worse. Specifically, over 6,500 sinkhole insurance claims are reported annually. Sadly, some sinkholes are powerful enough to cause real disaster. In 2013, one such sinkhole opened up suddenly and engulfed a man in his bedroom, and his body was never recovered. Fact 42. Florida has the only living coral barrier reef in the continental U.S. The continental United States' only surviving coral barrier reef is located in Florida. The Florida Reef is the only authentic coral reef system in America, spanning more than 350 miles from the Dry Tortugas to Martin County's St. Lucie Inlet. The reef isn't just beautiful, It also helps protect Florida's coast and supports a huge range of marine life. While snorkelers and divers enjoy its underwater views, the reef acts as a natural barrier against storms and erosion, and it provides a critical habitat for countless ocean species. Fact 41. A single spring, Silver Springs, once powered glass-bottom boat tours in the 1870s. Silver Springs is a remarkable group of artesian springs in Florida that once powered glass-bottom boat tours as far back as the 1870s. It consists of 30 springs with 61 vents and a flow of 500 million gallons per day, making it one of the largest first-magnitude springs in the United States, and even the world. This incredible flow rate of 500 million gallons of water per day is enough to fill approximately 750 Olympic-sized swimming pools daily. Silver Springs has been a popular tourist destination for over 150 years. For generations, people have come to see its clear waters by riding glass-bottom boats, getting a close-up view of the fish, plants, and unique underwater world that has made it a classic. Fact 40. Some beaches glow in the dark. Some Florida beaches glow at night due to bioluminescent plankton in the Indian River Lagoon. These tiny, single-celled organisms float on or near the ocean surface, and when agitated by waves, splashes, or other movements, they emit a blue-green light through a chemical reaction. This natural light show creates a shimmering, neon blue effect in the water. The bioluminescence of the Indian River Lagoon is a reflex response. Some dinoflagellates can flash blue light as an immediate reaction to the disturbance. Fact 39. Florida has islands made from trash in mud. Sounds pretty gross, right? But Florida does indeed have islands made from trash in dredged mud. Many of Miami's famous man-made islands, such as Dodge Island and Star Island, were created from dredged muck and debris during the 1920s real estate boom. These artificial islands were formed by piling up dredged material from the ocean floor, transforming what was once underwater into prime real estate. Today, they are home to luxury homes, exclusive clubs, and even high-end resorts. Fact 38. Miami Beach isn't exactly natural. Believe it or not, Miami Beach is mostly man-made. The sand you see today was brought in over the years to rebuild the shoreline. Without regular upkeep, much at the beach would slowly wash away. Miami Beach has been extensively modified and enhanced through artificial means, such as beach nourishment projects that pump sand onto the shoreline to fight erosion. Keeping Miami Beach in shape takes constant work. Without regular maintenance, waves, storms, and rising seas would slowly eat away at the shoreline, putting homes, businesses, and the beach itself at risk. Fact 37. Florida has the largest subtropical wilderness in the U.S. The Everglades, spanning approximately 1.5 million acres, is a unique ecosystem known for its slow-moving river of grass. This wetland system supports a bunch of different wildlife, including rare species like the Florida panther, manatees, and numerous bird species. The Everglades, often called the River of Grass, is one of Florida's most important natural areas. It helps regulate the climate, supports the water supply, and is home to wildlife you won't find anywhere else on Earth. It's a one-of-a-kind ecosystem that Florida depends on. Fact 36. It's also one of the only fire-dependent wetlands. One of the few wetlands in the world that depends on fire is the Everglades. In order to keep its ecosystem healthy and in balance, natural fires, which are frequently started by lightning, are essential. Many of the fragile plant and animal groups of the Everglades would struggle to exist without these sporadic fires, and the area would collapse or become overrun by invading species. Many species depend on a variety of habitats, which fire helps to maintain by removing old vegetation and encouraging new development. Fire is a natural component of the ecology of Florida. In fact, the state burns to survive. Fact 35. Lake Okeechobee is so shallow that you could walk across it if it were drained. Despite covering approximately 730 square miles, making it the largest freshwater lake in Florida, its average depth is only about 9 feet. The lake serves as a vital water source for the region, providing flood control, irrigation, and habitat for numerous species. Fact 34. Florida is not surrounded by ocean. Believe it or not, Florida is not completely surrounded by ocean. The state is a peninsula, meaning it's mostly surrounded by water on 3 sides, and its western coast is bordered by the Gulf of Mexico. This positioning gives Florida's Gulf Coast beaches a unique character, typically warmer and calmer than the Atlantic side. The Gulf of Mexico's gentle waves and milder waters make it a popular destination for swimming, boating, and relaxing along the coast. Fact 33. Underneath Florida is a giant sponge. The entire state of Florida sits on top of the Floridian Aquifer, a huge underground limestone bedrock that functions like a natural reservoir, stretching across 100,000 square miles and producing 1.2 trillion gallons of water every year. This porous limestone, just a reminder, absorbs water like a giant sponge, storing large amounts of fresh water beneath the surface. However, because of how porous it is, the limestone can also collapse out of nowhere, causing sinkholes that can be a huge hazard. Fact 32. Florida has underwater caves that go on for miles. Florida is home to extremely long underwater cave systems that stretch for miles beneath the surface. Divers have mapped more than 28,000 feet of explored passageways in Peacock Springs State Park. For example, one of the most famous caves is Devil's Den, a hidden underground spring nestled within a 120-foot wide cavern. Like all Florida springs, Devil's Den maintains a constant water temperature of about 72 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, providing a cool, inviting environment for divers and snorkelers. These intricate cave systems, formed over thousands of years by dissolving limestone, and exploring them offer a thrilling adventure into one of Florida's most mysterious and beautiful natural features. Fact 31. The state has rivers that flow north. Contrary to the popular belief that rivers in the U.S. always flow south, you'll be surprised to learn that Florida contains a number of rivers that flow north. The St. Johns River, the longest river in Florida and one of the few significant rivers in the nation that flows north rather than south, is among the most prominent. The St. Johns River rises in Indian River County and flows across eastern Florida for about 310 miles before draining into the Atlantic Ocean. Fact 30. Florida has more coastline than any other state, except Alaska. Alaska's coastline is a massive 6,640 miles. But Florida has something to flex as well. With approximately 1,350 miles of shoreline, it surpasses those of California and Texas. This huge coastline includes beautiful beaches along the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. The sheer length of Florida's coastlines plays a significant role in its tourism industry. Marine biodiversity and cultural identity is a premier beach destination. Fact 29. The Florida Keys are part of ancient history. The Florida Keys aren't just regular islands. They're made from ancient coral reefs. Long ago, when sea levels were much higher, coral and marine life built up massive reef structures. Over time, those reefs hardened into limestone. Then, during the last ice age, sea levels dropped and exposed the fossilized reefs. What's now the Florida Keys, formed as parts of that limestone, were pushed above the surface. These islands are a reminder of Florida's deep ocean past, and they still support some of the most unique wildlife and terrain in the state. Fact 28. You can find ancient shark teeth on the beach. Florida's ancient history doesn't end with the Florida Keys. Venice Beach is known as the shark tooth capital of the world, and, as you'd guess, visitors often find ancient shark teeth washed up along its shores. These fossils originate from sharks that lived in the warm Gulf waters of this area for millions of years. Over time, the erosion of the coastline exposes the fossilized teeth, making Venice Beach a prime location for both fossil hunters and beachcombers. Fact 27. Florida is home to one of Earth's largest wet prairies. The Kissimmee Prairie Preserve covers about 54,000 acres of wide-open land, and it's so flat you can actually see the curve of the Earth. This rare stretch of dry prairie is filled with tall grasses, wildflowers, and all kinds of wildlife. It's one of the best places in Florida to experience untouched nature, spot rare birds, and take in the vastness of the landscape. Fact 26. Florida once had volcanic activity. The state's geological history begins over 530 million years ago during the Cambrian period, when much of southeastern North America, including what is now Florida, was submerged under an ancient sea. The land formations we see today started forming around 300 million years ago, when portions of land were added from what is now Africa during the formation of the supercontinent Pangaea. Although Florida has no active volcanoes today, evidence of past volcanic activity exists deep underground. Geologists have discovered signs of ancient submarine volcanic activity that took place during the Paleozoic and Mesozoic eras. Key findings include igneous intrusions, which are deep within Florida's subsurface. Layers of ancient volcanic rock indicate past eruptions when the land was still submerged beneath the ocean. Also, many of Florida's famous sinkholes and underground rivers are linked to the dissolution of ancient volcanic rock formations over millions of years. Fact 25. Sand in the Panhandle comes from the Appalachian Mountains. The sand along Florida's Panhandle, especially in the Destin area, originates from the Appalachian Mountains. Over millions of years, quartz minerals eroded from these mountains were carried by rivers, primarily the Apalachicola River, and deposited along Florida's coast. This process resulted in the formation of the region's famous powder white beaches. The sand in this area is considered among the whitest and most homogeneous in the world, composed predominantly of tiny quartz particles that have been naturally refined over thousands of years. Fact 24. Florida has impressive dunes. When you think of dunes around the world, Florida probably doesn't spring to mind, but the state is home to dunes taller than 25 feet, despite the state's generally flat terrain. For example, Topsail Hill Preserve State Park has coastal dunes that rival the height of small buildings, and they're constantly shaped by wind and waves. These shifting formations play a big role in protecting the coast. They help block storm surges and prevent erosion. Fact 23. One of its lakes used to explode. Lake Apopka is located in central Florida, northwest of Orlando. It is the fourth largest lake in the state and lies within Orange County, and it has a rather interesting past as it was once known for emitting flammable gases. The lake's waters became heavily polluted over the years, primarily due to agricultural runoff and organic waste. The decaying vegetation and organic matter in the polluted waters produced methane, a flammable gas that could sometimes be ignited. This phenomenon was a direct result of the anaerobic decomposition process occurring in the lake's oxygen-depleted conditions. Today, efforts to restore Lake Apopka continue, but its history as a lake capable of exploding will never be forgotten. Fact 22. A third of Florida used to be wetlands. Historically, wetlands covered about one-third of Florida's land area, totaling over 20 million acres. These wetlands included swamps, marshes, and other vital ecosystems that supported animal life and helped filter water and control flooding. However, due to development for agriculture, urbanization, and real estate, much of Florida's wetlands have been drained or altered. Today, less than half of the original wetlands remain, making the conservation and restoration of these critical habitats an important environmental priority for the state. Fact 21. You can find desert-like scrub habitats in Central Florida. In Central Florida, you can find desert-like scrub habitats known as sandpine scrublands. Sandpine scrub is among the rarest and most unique habitats on Earth, characterized by sandy soils, drought-resistant plants, and specialized wildlife. This ecosystem, located in Central Florida, is also one of the oldest in the state, dating back to ancient times when rising sea levels flooded much of what is now the state. Over millions of years, these scrublands persisted in the higher, well-drained areas, surviving through prehistoric climate changes and evolving into a fragile, yet vital, part of Florida's natural heritage. Fact 20. Florida's barrier islands are always moving. Florida's barrier islands are dynamic and constantly in motion, driven by waves, storms, and natural coastal processes. These islands are continually reshaped as sand is eroded from one side and deposited on the other. Beach and dune systems, especially barrier islands, are active environments where erosion, the removal of sand, and accretion, the addition of sand, happen simultaneously. Storms and wave action can carve away parts of the island, while longshore drift, the movement of sand along the coast, causes the islands to gradually migrate and change shape over time. This constant shifting helps protect the mainland from storms and erosion, but it also means that these islands are ever-changing, living landscapes. Fact 19. The Gulf Stream starts off Florida's coast. Many people may not realize that the Gulf Stream begins off Florida's coast. This powerful, warm ocean current plays a vital role in regulating the Earth's climate and influences weather patterns across the Atlantic. The Gulf Stream originates near the tip of Florida, where it flows northward along the eastern coast of the United States and Canada as a swift, warm current. It then crosses the Atlantic Ocean toward Europe, helping to keep the climate of Western Europe much milder and warmer than it would be otherwise. Additionally, the Gulf Stream can influence hurricane paths, often sending storms toward Europe or affecting their intensity along the way. Fact 18. Florida has underwater lava tubes. Sort of. In parts of North Florida, natural cave networks formed by karst processes and spring systems mimic the appearance of lava tubes found in volcanic regions. These underground tunnels and caves are created through the dissolution of limestone and other soluble rock formations over thousands of years, rather than by solidified lava flows. Despite their different origins, these subterranean features share similar geological characteristics with lava tubes, including long narrow passageways and cavernous spaces. Fact 17. one of the lightning capitals of the world. The region between Tampa and Orlando, often called Lightning Alley, experiences an extraordinary amount of lightning activity, more than almost anywhere else on Earth. This area, extending from Tampa to Titusville, receives approximately 10 to 35 lightning flashes per square kilometer each year. Fact 16. It's the only state with both tropical and humid subtropical climate zones. Florida is divided into two main climate regions: the tropical climate in the southern parts, and the humid subtropical climate in the northern and central areas. This unique climate diversity means that Florida enjoys warm temperatures year-round, allowing plants to thrive continuously. However, the consistent warmth also accelerates plant growth, requiring frequent maintenance to keep them healthy. Fact 15. Florida's weather is powered by three different seas. The Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Caribbean Sea collectively shape Florida's temperature, rainfall, and storm systems. Temperatures throughout the Florida Peninsula are kept temperate, especially in the winter, by the warm waters of the Atlantic Ocean, notably the Gulf Stream. Inland winter temperatures are warmer than in other regions of the southeastern United States because of the Gulf Stream's warm currents close to the East Coast. Furthermore, the Atlantic and Gulf of Mexico's warm waters combine to provide a humid atmosphere that encourages frequent rains and thunderstorms, particularly in the summer. The strong, frequently daily rains that characterize Florida's summer environment are caused by the evaporation of water into the atmosphere by this warmth. Both the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico serve as breeding grounds for tropical cyclones, including hurricanes. Warm sea surface temperatures in these regions provide the energy and moisture necessary for tropical storms to develop, strengthen, and sometimes make landfall on Florida's coast, bringing heavy rain, wind, and storm surges. So, compiled, these three bodies of water play a crucial role in Florida's dynamic and often unpredictable weather patterns. Fact 14. There are underwater caves where fossils rain from the ceiling. In some spring-fed underwater cave systems in Florida, fossils occasionally rain down from the ceiling. Storms and natural water movement dislodge ancient bones, revealing fossils embedded within these caves. These discoveries, including animal bones, human artifacts like knives and dung, have sparked important scientific debates. They cast doubt about the widely accepted Bering Strait theory of human migration and suggest that humans may have spread through the Americas approximately 1,500 years earlier than previously believed. With that said, these underwater caves continue to be a valuable window into the prehistoric past. Fact 13. Florida was once home to these giant mammals. Florida's ancient land was once inhabited by giant ground sloths and saber-toothed cats. Fossils of these extinct megafauna have been discovered in locations such as Vero Beach and Peace River. The largest ground sloths, belonging to the genus Megatherium, were about the size of Asian bull elephants and weighed approximately 8,000 pounds. Fact 12. A land of thousands of islands. Aside from Alaska, which has the most islands in the United States, Florida boasts more islands than any other continental U.S. state, with over 4,500 islands larger than 10 acres. Florida surpasses states like California in total island count. In total, Florida has approximately 4,510 islands of this size or larger. It's important to note that the term continental United States excludes Alaska and Hawaii, meaning Florida holds the record among the contiguous states for the number of islands. Fact 11. Some cities can't build basements. The water table in Florida is so high that building basements is often impractical or impossible. If you've lived in a region where basements are common, used for storage, home gyms, extra bedrooms, or storm shelters, you might find it strange that basements are almost non-existent in Florida. So, why is that? The answer lies in Florida's unique environment, particularly its climate, land, and water table. Frequent storms and a consistently high water table mean that groundwater is often just a few feet below the surface. In South Florida, attempting to dig a basement typically results in hitting groundwater almost immediately, making construction difficult and costly. As a result, most homes in Florida are built without basements, relying instead on elevated foundations or other design features suited to the state's watery landscape. Fact 10. Its man-made lakes often become alligator hotspots. Florida's numerous man-made lakes and waterways often become hotspots for alligators. With an estimated population of about 1.3 million alligators statewide, these reptiles are increasingly sharing the landscape with people. As humans develop into their habitats, alligators adapt by using lakes, canals, and retention ponds as natural highways for travel and hunting. Many of these water bodies, originally created for flood control and stormwater management, double as alligator highways, making encounters with these formidable reptiles more common in Florida's developed areas. Fact 9. Florida is the only place in the world where alligators and crocodiles live together. Many countries have alligators or crocodiles, but Florida has both. Florida is the only place in the world where alligators and crocodiles live together in the wild. In the Everglades, these prehistoric rivals coexist thanks to a delicate balance of fresh and brackish water. Everglades National Park is unique as the only place on Earth where both species share the same habitat naturally. In fact, it's the only location in the United States where you can see crocodiles in the wild. The coexistence is made possible by the mixture of fresh water from Lake Okeechobee and salt water from the ocean, creating a diverse environment that supports both species and allows this rare dual habitat to thrive. Fact 8. Florida's coastline is eroding fast. More than half of the state's beaches are classified as critically eroded, prompting millions of dollars to be spent annually on sand replenishment projects. This rapid erosion results from a combination of factors, including rising sea levels, severe storms, and extensive coastal development. As sea levels continue to rise, the threat to Florida's sandy beaches grows, making ongoing and costly efforts necessary to maintain the coastline and preserve these vital natural resources. Fact 7. Parts of Miami are sinking due to overdevelopment. Parts of Miami are experiencing a phenomenon known as subsidence, primarily due to overdevelopment. Draining wetlands and extensive construction have caused certain areas of the city to subside by several millimeters each year. A recent study by the University of Miami indicates that 35 buildings, including luxury high-rises, are sinking, with some areas experiencing subsidence of up to 8 centimeters. This process is being worsened by ongoing construction activities and is occurring at a faster rate than previously anticipated, raising concerns about the long-term stability and safety of parts of the city. Fact 6. Some Florida towns were built on drained swampland that's now reflooding. Many towns in Florida were built on previously drained swampland, but now, due to factors such as rising sea levels and increased rainfall, these areas are experiencing reflooding. This reversion to wetlands highlights the consequences of disrupting natural water flow and underscores the profound impact of climate change on low-lying coastal communities. Just down the coast from Donald Trump's weekend retreat, residents and businesses in South Florida are facing regular episodes of water flooding into the streets. As sea levels continue to rise, the region, one of the most vulnerable in the world, is becoming ground zero in the battle against rising seas, with far-reaching implications for its communities and infrastructure. Fact 5. The Everglades used to extend all the way to Orlando. The Everglades once extended all the way up to Orlando, covering a vast area that included regions now heavily developed for urban and agricultural use. Over time, urbanization, farming, and the construction of canals have drastically shrunk the natural habitat, fragmenting the ecosystem and altering its water flow. Today, restoration efforts are underway to reconnect what was lost and to restore the natural water movement that was severely disrupted by development. In 2024, Florida embarked on an ambitious ecological restoration initiative, including the construction of a large reservoir designed to secure the state's water supply, while helping to restore the Everglades' delicate balance. Fact 4. The state has a literal ghost town swallowed by a swamp. Flamingo, located within Everglades National Park, was largely abandoned after repeated hurricane devastation, with major impacts occurring in 2005 when Hurricanes Katrina and Wilma caused massive damage. In 2017, Hurricane Irma also inflicted significant damage, further contributing to the town's decline. Today, all that remains of the former town are a few remnants of building foundations, and it's considered a ghost town, remaining as a ghostly reminder of the power of nature and the challenges of maintaining settlements in such a vulnerable environment. Fact 3. This town sits at the exact meeting point of 3 ecosystems. Yeehaw Junction is a small unincorporated area with about 200 residents, located in sparsely populated farmland in extreme southeast Osceola County. While it's often called a town, it's more accurately described as a crossroads. This unique town is situated at the exact intersection of 3 distinct ecosystems: pine flatwoods, dry prairie, and marshland. Fact 2. There's an underwater habitat for humans off Key Largo. One of the few functioning undersea laboratories in the world lies in the Aquarius Reef Base off Key Largo in the Florida Keys. Operated by Florida International University, this unique facility allows scientists to live and work underwater, conducting research on marine ecosystems, coral reefs, and ocean health. According to the BBC, the Aquarius Reef Base is the world's only undersea research laboratory, providing invaluable insights into the ocean environment by immersing researchers directly into their study habitat beneath the waves. Fact 1. Florida helps manatees avoid freezing. Florida is one of the few places where manatees congregate in large numbers around nuclear power plants to stay warm. During cold snaps in winter, hundreds of these gentle marine mammals gather near the warm outflows of coastal power stations, which provide a crucial refuge when natural waters drop below their comfortable temperature threshold. Manatees are naturally adapted to warmer waters and can struggle to survive in temperatures below 68 degrees Fahrenheit. The warm discharge from power plants offers a safe and reliable habitat, helping them avoid hypothermia and ensuring their survival during Florida's colder months. What about 50 insane facts about European geography you won't believe are true?